keep them coming here while everybody's in isolation from this crazy coronavirus. And I have my man, Byron. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? Thanks very much for the invite. It's a pleasure to come live and say hello to the dog world community out there. I hope everyone's hanging in strong. I'm sending you a lot of love and positive vibes. It's not easy. Don't get confused. Don't feel sad or depressed. Things are gonna be better. Everything's a process, and we know that.
That's
You
right.
know.
I think this is kind of a reset process, man. And it also is kind of a, I don't know. I mean, it's there's a lot of underlying anxiety that people are dealing with, some financial struggles right now. And
Yes.
we did a little live stream with Sherry Boyer, and Sherry Boyer has a little summit going that's free of charge. If you don't know her, check her out. Check out the live stream I did with her a few live streams ago. But one of the first things to do is to communicate with your financial institutions, any banks or any debtors that you have. Just let them know what's going on. This is an unprecedented event. This is a
Hmm.
pandemic. It's a worldwide event, so you're not alone in dealing with this.
Yeah.
And there's lots of people out here. Mental health is an important thing. If you need to talk to somebody, go ahead and do that. But also take the time to reflect on your life and the life that has been interrupted. And what do you think, buddy? What do you think we should do?
For me personally, it's like you just made a great comment, right? A great statement, I should say that it's time for it is a reset. I think for me personally, I'm going to speak about myself because I don't know about anyone else since we're and under house arrest for our own good. Um, I feel that it's time for us to make changes on the areas that we've been procrastinating in our personal lives and also in our relationship with our clients, with
Hmm.
our clients' dogs. In general, I think is a great opportunity for us to really reevaluate and make better changes because how you think and how you feel, that vibration, what you put out, is exactly what comes back to you. So in this challenging moment, if we continue to just focus on the financial area and the death that is happening around us, it's
Hmm.
not a positive thing. So therefore, we have to shut things down sometimes and just focus on the good things and just be grateful for what we have. We are in not a bad state. We have a roof over our head, we have water, we have food. We are just limited right now going out, and there's no need to be complaining about that. There's a reason for it. This coronavirus is real. It's serious. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
So, but it's not going to stop us from living and moving forward in our lives. That's why we have dogs, right? Dogs teach you to stay present, to focus on what you have and the moment. The moment is what's important. Right now, this right here, what I've learned throughout my life in these past 8 years, I've changed my life. I toned down my life to just create a simpler life. The more simplicity, the better it is. Less I have less to worry about. And I just feel overwhelmed with joy and happiness because I take time, to be grateful. We have to do that. Us as a human being, being doesn't matter what profession you have. We are all the common denominator is being a human being, right? Understanding that in order to get through anything, you cannot fight against it. What you have to do is be grateful and look at what you have, your accomplishments, your family that loves you, those that are around you that you surround yourself with appreciate you. So that's what's important. We cannot let this just bring us down morally. We can't. This is a wonderful awakening. You should be joyful because remember, something wonderful will come out of this. It always works that way.
Yeah. Well, I think what you're saying too is be focus on the things you're thankful for instead of the things that you're scared about or that provoke a fear response. Um, and even though there is legitimate reasons to be
Hmm.
afraid or whatever because of the interruption in our lives, it's our choice to choose what we put our thoughts to and what we put our activities as far as what we focus on as far as what we consume media wise. And that's one of the reasons why I choose to put out this type of content during this time, is to have people give people an alternative, something, especially in the dog industry, that they can
Yes.
always rely on. And I'm going to try to go as often as possible with some pretty cool cats like my man Byron. And Byron, I already shared this stuff. So if you guys are watching, please hit the share button. I shared the dogs chatting and triple R, rational, reasonable, respectable dog trainers, and any groups or anything. If you like to share this stuff, this is good, is a good thing. Byron is in Bloomfield, New Jersey. It's 11 miles from the Manhattan, a
Yeah.
crazy epicenter. Was
Yeah.
used to be called New Amsterdam. New York City was founded by the Dutch, and they were the New
Yes.
Amsterdam.
Yes,
Excellent
indeed.
history there. I love
It's
our American history.
Oh yes, indeed. I know. It's but the thing about it is just like we have to go back to our historical books, because the answers to what's happening now are in those books.
Yes.
You know,
Well, I was just watching this thing on the American, or the Spanish flu, and
1918, right?
yeah, 1918, and a lot of this stuff like was done too late, especially in Philadelphia, when they knew that something was going on, and exactly the same stuff that we're doing right now today, they didn't do, and it
Mm.
was met with devastating consequences, and that's what we're trying not to repeat now. And the coronavirus isn't new in general, but this is a new version of it. That's why they call it a novel or new virus. But I mean, and us as dog trainers, that's a beautiful thing about what we do too, is that we have these dogs that kind of keep us in the moment. uh,
Yes.
and also that we can just hang out with and kind of let them. My wife rolls by with a my wife's always working, man. She's a little busy bee. I was out there driving the thing for her earlier, but she's out there. We're filling up all of our planter boxes with compost and
Nice.
getting ready for the new season. Getting all of our starters ready, and anybody
Right.
that wants any advice on that stuff, there's plenty of people that can teach you how to do that. And that's the
For
beauty of
sure.
the world that we belong to. Is Byron, what's the name of your company? Canine Training with?
With Byron, canine training with Byron. This is a very unique name. Being Hispanic. I was raised in Newark. I came here at the age of 9 years old.
You
In
did?
Newark
From
for
where?
about, huh?
Where did you
From
come from?
Ecuador. I came from
Ecuador.
Ecuador. Yeah, I was raised out in Ecuador, and so that's where I have my most of my fundamentals, right?
Okay.
For being respectful towards nature, towards any kind of animal, not just dogs. I learned through my grandmother, and I learned, by doing dumb things like getting bitten in the ass by geese by trying to approach and touch them, that kind of stuff. And you learn from that. And one of my big influences in my life is my grandmother and my grandfather. May they rest in peace. Yeah. So it's that's where it started all. And I think, and it was a beautiful thing, because my subconscious mind was being programmed with nature, with reality, with the moment, with appreciation, with love, with kindness, with light. So it was a preparation, I think, for me. So because the transition coming to a country where the language is different, the different cultures, different customs, different ways of being, different foods, right? And you're being a child is just like you're in this huge like mall, and this mall has everything that you want and that you dreamed of as a kid, right? So I think that for me personally, at this point in my life, what I'm recognizing is, and for many of those also that are possibly stuck somewhere, right? Your subconscious mind is programmed at the age of 7 months until the age of you're like 7 years old. So that those are the fundamentals that you are being inculcated and taught. So as you grow and develop, that becomes what you believe, what you feel, right? Your subconscious mind is always there. So your subconscious mind is your whole body is always recording things, is always recording. So that's something that I learned about in these past few years. Literally, it's like, why do I feel this way? Why is it that I'm not working fluently like I used to with dogs? It's because the experiences that transgress through our lives, it becomes an impediment. And then when you have a dog and you start focusing on observation and how they socialize, how they play, how they communicate, that when you start absorbing that and you start focusing, you put your attention onto that. What you put your attention and what you focus on, it's really what your energy, what that's what you connect with. And that's where it really starts open. That's what opened up my mind and opened up my eyes. I'm like, whoa, why am I thinking this way negatively when, and I realized that it's your body becomes, your cells become like um, a recorder, and it records all that stuff. So therefore I started undoing all that. And therefore I started becoming better and better because I started having a problem working with dogs. And it wasn't the dogs, it was me. Right? There's times where we go through situations, and it doesn't have to be the coronavirus. It can be other situations in your life that can create a little bit of chaos, of an imbalance. And that's where really your preparation and my spirituality, my beliefs come into play, and that's what really has keeps you focused and centered. And I have been able to go up through those storms, those big tall mountains, as the storm is coming down and it's hailing. But when I got to the peak, I was grateful for the experience because I was just able to see the storm behind me. And
Yeah.
that's what we're looking at right now. We will see the storm behind us, but keep your health here. This is important. Without this, you can fail, and it's not a good thing. You know, I feel that the mind is the best weapon we have. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they call the mind the most intricate thing in the known universe, right? The
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, and that. With that, I could say this, right. There's something that I wrote before we began today our chat. And I would like to read something for us to understand a little bit more about where I'm coming from, and why is this is very
Of course.
important, this whole connection with dogs and us. Like I feel that that connection between the human energy, your output, right, and the response of our dogs to your vibration is constantly relevant, even when it's not involved in a direct interaction with the dog.
Hmm.
Why? Because energy, everything is energy, whether we like it or not. It's a fact.
Yes.
And dogs are the ones that, in this part of the, I think, of time, has to remind us of that. You know. So basically, what I'm trying to say is just like you have to be mindful because dogs are mindful. You know.
Well, and that's it, man. Is like, well, first off, let me say, energy flows where focus goes, right? And
Indeed. Yeah.
that's a saying to remember. Energy flows where focus goes, and in this time, if we're always focusing on the fear, the death, the destruction, the getting sick, the disease,
Hmm.
then that's where our energy is flowing, right? Because we're focusing on that. But if we're choosing to focus on creativity, um, just being ourselves and being thankful for the time that we have with our family during this moment, and also a time that we have to maybe reflect and also to put energy towards stuff in our house that might have been neglected. um, is a wonderful thing, and understanding brain waves too. I think that is very, very important too, because when you were
Yes.
young, we have delta,
Delta, beta. We have,
delta, theta, alpha, beta. Um, Let me see.
yeah,
There's
there's seven that as we keep controlling and bringing down the brain waves, right, into the lowest that we can. That's where the magic happens if you really want to connect and you want to build your future. You start focusing on the things you want there. And if you can feel the moment, that's where the magic happens.
mm,
It's just like when we're training dogs, just like when we're rehabilitating dogs. We are waiting for that moment when the dog opens up and boom, the magic, the mindset changed. Right. So that it's like for me, like being very, very focusing on those things for me, like, and just being very observant of things. It's for me. This is how I learn, and this is how I'm able to also to be able to make it clear and communicate to the clients, which is very important for me. Most of my approach is always just to work more with the client than it is with the dog.
Mm.
Because the problem that we have is the human, it's not the dog. The dog got to that point because of the neglect of the human, because of the lack of knowledge and understanding of the human. That's why the dog got to that point. In other cases, we have when dogs just walk into a place where all these dogs are there, and then you want to adopt a dog, and you go to this event, and you might end up getting this amazing dog, but the dog that you're getting possibly might have some kind of behavioral issues, such as fear, aggression, and then it's just like if you're a newbie, how do you deal with that? That's where we come in, and we have to come and work with. That's what I do, right? Jason Cohen does that as well. We come in and we start just working we focus on the human, and we break things down so they can see how dogs learn, how dogs make mistakes, how dogs also forget when you are teaching them. How do we stop that behavior? What alternative can we give the client? So that's like when I focus on that and I continue to focus on that, that is no different than what we do for ourselves, right?
Yeah, we're all working with behavior ultimately,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to focus on our own behavior first and foremost, in my opinion. And that's that we learn a lot from the exercises that we do because we are working with behavior, and we're working with behavior rehabilitation. And just like if somebody goes on drugs or whatever, then they go to drug rehabilitation rehab. Or if they injure themselves from overexertion, they go to rehabilitation to get it back on track, and healthy again, right?
Yeah.
And so I can absolutely see that it's the same exact thing that we do with ourselves. And in fact, I think that people kind of sometimes work too much on that dog before they work on themselves.
Yes. Yep. And I think that for me, it's a mistake because you did what the trainer asked you to do. You work with the trainer, but the trainer forgot to tell you how to connect with the dog, how
Yeah.
your relationship can change when you stop doing that, how your relationship can change when you stop dropping those thoughts that you have that don't exist every time you pick up the leash. And all of a sudden you pick up the leash and you go back, oh man, my dog is going to act up again. Why do you say that? If you want your dog to change, you got to forget that and really take that with love. Be like, okay, today I'm going to teach my dog to focus on me. Instead of saying, oh man, I don't want to go out. This guy's going to act up. Boom. You just dropped the ball. You failed right there. Because words are very powerful. Again, words are very powerful. Everything that comes out of your mouth, it goes into the universe and it comes back to you. It's a reflection of how you think. Okay, so we have to be mindful of that. And that right there is a hack because when you start changing that's your own state of mind and you start working with the state of mind of a dog and you connect with that and you fall into that energy, you start seeing amazing things. You start learning at the same time.
Yeah.
And not only that, but everybody that's in there surrounding you, everyone learns as well.
Hey, you guys, come on. Zip it. I'm right here. Yeah, good point, man. And when you're in the mindset of the dog, you're basically living in the moment, right?
Yes.
And then when you're when you grab that leash and you are like, oh shit, she's going to be reactive, or my dog's gonna, it's going to be a shitty. Then you're living in the past because that's based on experiences that you've had previously with that dog, and and sometimes even we're living in the future in that because we're fearful of what's coming up, right? And the experience that we're about to undertake. And so if we truly live in the now, we kind of let go of that, the living in the past and living in the
Yeah.
future, and we kind of accept what's happening right at this second,
Right.
and we can deal with it. We can manage it. We can be observant, and observant of things means to observe without reaction, kind of looking at the environment like you're at a 30,000-foot airplane or something like that, and just kind of observe and just be, and allow
Yes.
the dog to just be as well, and observe the thresholds that it takes the dog to calm down, and when the dog starts losing their mind, and where you can be, and try to work that out, and then when you're in that place where the dog is calm and can take that observer role as well, that's when you're starting to make progress, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Because like you said, you know, it's we can't stop looking. We can't. As dog trainers, we have to look at the world through the dog's eyes.
Yeah,
Dimensional, dimensional, not linear, man. That's wrong. Okay, dogs do not look at the world like that. I don't look at the world like that. Linear. If we're linear, we're not seeing too far. This world, the universe, is dimensional. Think
yeah,
about it. You know. So I really really like the fact that out in the quantum field, all possibilities can happen and good ones only,
yeah,
right? And that is the future. Being present now, it is your future because that is, and I chose that now. My dog is not reactive, right? Your state of mind changes, your dog changes. Your dog is going to look at you with a smile and you're going to feel that. You're going to be like, oh yeah, stay on that rope, stay in that present moment. Don't just don't think about anything else. And that's like a very very good hack that you can practice. Everybody should practice that, not only dog train, everybody should practice that. Is a good habit.
yeah. Well, I mean, and what you're talking about is kind of hacking the quantum field. And I
Yes.
think that when you start to practice this, that you'll start to realize that you're going to know that without a doubt that you you you're capable of experiencing these things, and it's so that it's no doubt that it's coming from the quantum field, you know,
Yes.
and you have to affect that quantum field, and that's what we're doing right now. All of us are, and you can ask for a sign that the quantum field is paying attention to you,
Mhm.
and and ask for it, and ask for it like deliberately, and see what happens,
You have
and
to
you'll see
feel
it.
it. You
You have
have
to
to
feel
feel
it,
it.
and you have to feel it in a way like if you read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, they talk about the white hot desire that
Mm.
is common through all these people, the Carnegies, the Pierpont, the Morgan, or the, I mean, that's JP Morgan, James Pierpont Morgan, the Astors, all of these families, the Guggenheims,
Mm.
they had
The Rothschilds.
the Rothschilds, yeah, they have a white hot desire for success, and that's
Hmm.
what happens is anybody that you study is successful, they do whatever it takes, man. They don't do whatever feels good. They
Hmm.
do whatever it takes, and that's
Yeah.
the focus that you want, that keeping your eye on the big prize, and realizing that we are kind of in a participatory universe, and that listens to your intent, and but we're also in a world that has a lot of social structures that automatically invoke a fear response, and money is the biggest one. And
Hmm.
now with the lack of money happening, with so many people losing their jobs and so many businesses closing down, that's a wave of a fear, doubts, fears, anxiety that is kind of overtaken humanity, we have to purposely use selective ignorance sometimes and shut that shit off,
Hmm.
or go
Yeah.
into our own space,
Indeed.
and focus on affecting that quantum field and see what happens. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised what you can manifest, and how the universe kind of gives you glimmers of like, hey, look, this is what what you've brought about,
Yeah. No. And it's and that's why it's just like many people. I'm pretty sure many people are going to be thinking about like, oh, yeah, now I know why that happened. It was because I said it and I kept saying it and I kept wanting it, and that's how it is. It's just you. We have a lot of abundance. We live in abundance. The universe is very abundant. And I
Yeah,
feel like at this time of moment, as the world financial system is come to a stop, and like you mentioned, the root of all evil is the lack of money.
yeah.
That's the root of evil,
Well,
the
I mean,
lack
it's the
of
lack of
money.
knowledge too, and the lack of, and I think money is just a tool to
To
subjugate
acquire things that we
consciousness.
need.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, but it's also a tool that subjugates the consciousness to the external modality, where it becomes materialism. People think that
Mm.
things will fulfill them instead of going within and doing that journey, of the work and the shadow work, and just know thyself. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Oracle of Delphi says. Hold on, let me get it. Let me get the proper quote so I have it here, because I can't do it. You can't do it justice without knowing how to do it properly. It says, heed these words, you who wish to probe the depths of nature. If you do not find within yourself that which you seek, neither will you find it outside. If you ignore the wonders of your own house, how do you expect to find other wonders? In you is hidden the treasure of treasures. Know thyself, and you will know the universe and the gods. And so right now, we have a lot of time to be by ourselves and to know ourselves. And really quick, Byron, Sarah Baker's here. She says, hey, and she says, Byron, I will always remember my first ICP conference in Ontario, California, meeting you in person. I gave you Willow's leash, and it was magic watching you build a relationship with a dog you had never met, who has terrified of men and has multiple bites in her history. She really blossomed because you took the time to show her that you understood her. I was able to complete her training and send her home knowing she was going to be awesome. I am happy to report she is doing very well 4 years later, all thanks to you, buddy.
Oh, wow. Excuse me.
Little
wow.
update on that dog that you...
I remember that, man. Sarah, man, it's good vibes to you, girl. Thank you for that. No, that's so true. It was a very magical moment. It was because it was just going to California during the period of time. It was the most challenging time of my life, man. I was in hell those days. But you know what? When you are in that most uncomfortable place in your life, that is where you are transforming. That's where you're crossing over that river, right? Mm-hmm. That river that you're fearful of, the things that have happened. And then when you cross over, magic happens. And that's what just happened in California. It was amazing. I met the most wonderful minds. I met you there. I met like the most amazing people, badass dog trainers in this planet, that we were able to connect and able to do things and the level that we understand it without judgment. No judgment, because our minds were one, not two. Two is not greater than one. One is greater than two. Why? Because we have to come together as one. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Krista Melito says, hey, my homies. What's up, Krista?
Krista, how are you? Good to see you.
I was just in Philly with her not too long ago. Sarah Baker, what a great story. Kate Johnson says, Johansson says, thank you. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Any stories or anything you have of Byron that are PG, of course? No, just kidding.
No, we always have it seems that when we come together at these ISCPs, great minds that think alike, and you feel it there. Like your connection, it's so real. The people there that I've met are so real, are so beautiful, very kind. And I feel that I can contribute, and I feel myself. I feel the first day I felt so welcomed by everybody. It was just, going to the ICP changed my whole life as a professional dog trainer. In every way.
Felt connection, huh?
A whole connection, mind, body, and spirit, man. It's just very, very great times.
Kate says, Byron, if you can do it, please share your story about California. Many of us going through hell right now, could use some inspiration. Like what was going on in your life, I think.
So what happened was at that time, right? How I got into the dog world was back in 2005, and I've previous to that, a few years previous to that, I had met my ex-girlfriend. Her name is Laura, and we met in school, and we started dating. And as time transgressed, she was very successful, stopped working, and she decided to start working dogs. Then, some reason, my connection with her and dogs just happened there. She saw the magic, and I am thankful to Laura. She was the one who really pushed me to this. And as we lived together and we grew together and we developed this amazing business, she got really sick. And sorry.
They're all good, brother.
No, man, she got sick and my business crashed. So when I was in the airplane going to California, when the airplane was about to land, I saw all these mountains. I just closed my eyes and I just had a prayer. And that prayer that I said it with feeling, with desire, and I put it out there, and it was just magical that when I opened my eyes and the plane landed, this weight just lifted out of my body,
Hmm.
And my mind was more clear. And I said to myself, life goes on. We got to keep going. This cannot stop you. You have a lot to do. So I started looking for the answers within and not from without, because we have all the answers inside of us. And since I've been a child, I've been very intuitive and inquisitive, and I knew that at that moment, like I literally knew that the reason why I was in California was because my life changed. And there's going to be times in our lives, listen, guys, okay? At this moment in our lives, it's difficult for some. For some, it might not be that difficult, right? But the uncomfortable part is what makes you grow, okay? Because there is only overcoming yourself, and that's what I did. My emotion, my pain, I had to let that go because it wasn't helping me. It doesn't help you. It doesn't make you see with clarity, you know? So therefore, when you don't see with clarity, you're carrying stories. And the stories that you're carrying are all memories. These are all subconscious. So therefore, I want to work with my conscience. I want to create. Because everybody here is a creator. We are all creators. Okay? We are all creators. And we can create magnificent lives. But at this time of our lives now, what we got to do. We have to be very conscious of what we're going to do moving forward.
That's right.
I love you guys all, man. Don't be depressed. Don't be fearful. Don't, don't, don't let that fear, man. Don't. When you start getting fearful, just close your eyes. Put some beautiful spiritual music on. Close your eyes. Just, if it's not serving your purpose for your higher good, release it. Get it out of your house. Don't practice it. Don't. Because this is a new era. It's a new beginning. Yeah. In order to get to a new beginning, we have to clear up a lot of garbage that has been created by evil men, okay? So there is a reason why all this is happening in our planet. But we are all safe if we follow rules. Stay home, do what you have to do. Let's not play Superman. And let's just keep our faith, okay? That's what we have to do. You guys are amazing. Every one of you guys here, you have worked your asses off to build. And that's just not going to fall apart. Emotionally, maybe, but hey, I love you guys, And I want to tell you that don't fall apart, man. Don't. All right? You guys, what I would like to do in the next coming weeks, or maybe in the next coming days, maybe we can do a live meditation with all the group, all the dog training community. I think just for us to bond and to just start letting go of the indifferences, because it's no more. This has to stop the indifferences, the talking garbage about the trainer, this and that. Well, listen, that's done. That's goodbye. This is a new dawn, a new beginning. Okay, the positive only, in the negative, in the bottom. Forget those titles, man. Let's help the people. Let's help the clients. Let's make this a better place. It starts with us. How about that? We can make a big change, but it starts with us. Let's do it. We can do this. We are the ones can ignite change, but it begins with us.
That's right. And we have plenty of time to reflect on that. And we have plenty of time to sleep on that, And yeah, we should absolutely see. He would love to do it. People are like, Kate says a meditation would be awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Byron, she says.
You're very welcome. I think it's just like
thank you for sharing as well.
It's a beautiful thing. It is beautiful, guys. You have to understand that. If you connect with God, with you connect with the heart source, with the creator of all things, the supreme being, you know, do it. Tell me how it is. I can tell you how it is because when I close my eyes, I really want to let go of what doesn't serve me. We are surrounded by a lot of negativity. Okay? We know that. Just don't give your ear to it. Shut it off. Use your phone to read titles and headlines, and then that's it. But keep your faith. Believe me, okay? There's the media, there's a lot of evilness everywhere. And the fear that is caused by these headlines and by the boogeyman coming through social media as well, I don't give into that, man. Since all this started happening, I've been very joyful and happy. Continue to be myself because my mother once told me when I got my first time, the first time I got my heart broken, my mom told me, if you continue to think about what happened, son, you are not going to fix anything by thinking. How you're going to fix things is by doing, by changing. Whatever didn't work for you, now you need to change. So that was fantastic. That was one of the best words of advice that my mom can possibly give me to today, and I'm sharing it with you guys.
Well, and Sarah just shared the story of Willow as well, and I wanted to share this with you. It's on her Instagram here, Baker's Acres, and here you are, my man. See? And she says, Willow the Aussie made huge progress in overcoming her fear of humans, where in California it was a mixture of training, greeting the right people at the right time, and most importantly, allowing her to make the decisions. And that's it, man, to say hi or not. And either decision is fine. You know? And that's what's beautiful about IACP is you're going to see dogs all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also going to see busy people that know how to deal with them. And you're going to see people ignoring dogs all over the place, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not a free-for-all to just pet people's dogs. Like some of these dogs that we work with as professionals have been going through issues, and sometimes we're bringing them to this event as a perfect opportunity to learn with like-minded individuals that might even actually provide assistance in that learning transformation progress, right? And so and this is it, is as you can see Byron here, but training with canine training with Byron. Willow, my sweet girl, is such a nice pleasure to spend time together. ICP 2016.
Wow. And that brings so much, warmth to me. Thank you for sharing that, because these are moments, these are special moments that are very impactful for the owner of that dog, most importantly.
Yes.
Well,
and if you and it says you taught me so much that week at ICP, just enjoying the moment with my dogs, to not be stressed about correcting every single thing, and to, i.e. micromanage, I call it, to just teach Willow to trust again and to just be, just be in that moment, man. And here we are.
Wow. And I'm grateful for this story, Sarah. Thank you for bringing it up. And, guys, I want to share something with you. This is a special book that I love reading over and over. The title of the book is Beyond Words: What Animals Think and Feel, by one of my favorite authors, and he is a professor at Rutgers University in New Brunswick, my school where I graduated from. Wait, let me bring it back this way. If you guys can see it.
What Animals Think and Feel, and who is it by?
It's Carl Safina.
Okay. Says what elephants? No. Beyond Words, what elephants and whales? No, that's
whales. It covers. He covers pretty much. Let me just read what this book is about to you guys, and I highly recommend this because I've learned so much from this.
Can I see the cover again?
The name of the book is Beyond Words: What
Animals Think and
Feel, by Carl Safina.
Okay, there it is. Yeah. Because I'm going to post up a link to the Amazon here.
Yeah, it's Carl Safina. And this is an amazing book that I highly recommend. And this is what it says. Carl Safina's landmark book offers an intimate view of animal behavior to challenge the fixed boundary between humans and non-human animals. Beyond Words brings forth powerful and illuminating insight into the unique personalities of animals through extraordinary stories of animal joy, grief, jealousy, anger, and love. The similarity between human and non-human consciousness, self-awareness, and empathy calls us to evaluate how we interact with animals, as Safina thoroughly tackles issues that affect us all. So this book has a lot of history as well. History of one of the most amazing parks that we have here in the United States. He was one of the observant professors that went out there and lived out there with wolves when they released them. He was part of that group, and he has a chapter where he breaks down his whole experience with observation. For he lived there for so many years in the park, out there by Montana. And then he also, in every chapter that he speaks about every animal, is because he lived in different countries, and his job is to observe and create data and analyze data and write down data and bring down this beautiful discoveries about our animals,
Hmm.
so about nature. So yeah, so that's something that you guys can definitely right now that we have the downtime. You order this book and dive into the chapter. The first chapter that I dove into was the wolves. It's fascinating. Historically, he breaks it down, and also he brings in a lot of great scientific insight to it as well.
Thank you for the recommendation. I just put up a link to the book Beyond Words, Carl Safina, and there's that observer role, just from observing, watching these animals, and I think that that's where a lot of people, just to kind of take a step back and observe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's just let's watch stuff. Let's and us as dog trainers, that's what we try to do, is to observe that relationship to see where it went off into the ditch. A lot of times it went off into the ditch right from the very beginning. And then it just got too much of a problem. The dog got too old, or it got too strong, or something like that. And then they decided to bring in a professional. But that's it, is observing, and that's a first step of the scientific method too. Well, the first step would be hypothesis, right?
Yeah.
If you count that, then it would be the second step. But then observation would be where we go right from the hypothesis, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And these books these are the kind of tools that I like to use for myself, just because it gives you perspective of how and the scientists and professors who are deeply in this field, they break things down for you that you see and you cannot really and you're like, oh, I see the connection here. Oh, you know, it's that's how you learn. That's how I've learned. You know.
Yeah. They got an audio book too. I love my Audible.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, if you could get that, just when even better.
Well, and then there's Voice Dream that reads out PDFs out loud to you too, and I highly recommend that to anybody that gets value out
Oh,
of listening to things, because you can basically find almost anything online right now on a PDF, and if you can't find it, there's these scanners now that literally take out the fold of the book that you can put underneath. I don't know if
oh.
they're readily available in the market, but I saw it, and when I saw it, I was just like, "Oh, this is a game changer, man! If you could take that into a library or something like that and scan it, boom, you got a free audiobook, no matter what."
Yeah.
So, and even like I even like listening to obscure like House bills, like legislative stuff, and also
Mm.
books that are kind of harder to trudge through. You can pick up a lot more by having somebody else read it. At least I can.
Hmm.
And so, like Homer's Iliad or the Odyssey, or time treasured stories like that are really cool to get to know as well. So let's see here. I have working on having gratitude for the future. Beautiful. What you think about and think about, you bring about. So be thankful for the things that you want more of in your life.
Yes.
Evan says that you have a wise mama,
Mm.
uh, because he loved them. Tolkien called us sub-creators. I mean,
Yes.
if you look at it, sub-creators, if we look at where we came from, regardless of what we believe, if you take a religious perspective or, whatever house or that you, religion that you belong to, we come from a creator, right?
Yes.
And so
Indeed.
therefore, if we are mini creators, if we
We
come
are
from
patent.
that,
Yes. We are
then that's
patent.
what we are. That's what we are, that which we come from. And so that's the goal of this life, is to
Yes.
create
What a
and not
great point, Bill.
necessarily,
Great point. Yes, we are a
yeah,
dot. Everyone, you, me, everybody's a dot in the
monad,
of
a,
that creation. We
a
are
pinpoint,
creators.
a pinpoint of experience, observing this life. And so that we may take perspective of, the doubts, fears, anxieties of this plane of existence and these bodies, these water suits that we incarnated into, that
Yes.
limit us. Because if you look at who we truly are, like, you're not Byron, I'm not Bill.
Mm-mm.
We're infinite love and energy, having an experiences. You're an Ecuadorian, a
Yes.
human that was born, in the place that we call Ecuador, in a male body.
Yeah.
And I am American, but Welsh Irish, or my where my family came from. And if we can even trace them back even further than that.
Hmm.
But I'm having an experience as a male human, as named Bill,
Yeah.
and here Byron. But if we break that down, we are infinite love and intelligence and energy coming in to experience this pinpoint, becoming a monad, the one pinpoint of experience, that our perceptions, and so that our percepts may come together to form concepts, and then we get a
Hmm.
better understanding of principles on this plane of existence as we go through it. And that's what's the beauty of having these dogs as kind of our working mates, is that they remind us and keep us present, and remind us of natural law, the way things are,
Mm.
um, and the patterns that we see reflected in them, and not just them, but their behavior, are also what we find in us. And so we see that we're part of the same pattern.
Hmm.
And to me, that gives me solace to know, hey, look, I'm where I belong. I fit in here.
Yeah.
And just like you were saying, the same stuff that we use on the dogs to change behavior, we can use on ourselves. And that's mindfulness, and being mindful in the moment, and not living in the past, not living in the future, but living in the now. And it takes some concentration to do that. But it's well worth it.
It is. Just have to drop the bags, man. You can't continue to live in survival mode.
Well, people become attached to their story.
Hmm.
This
That
is who I
survival mode.
am. This is who I am. This is why I have a right to be this way. This is why
Hmm.
and this is. But that story, man, people really get attached to that.
Yeah,
And
man.
they identify too heavily with that story that isn't them.
No. And the
Excuse me.
bless you. The worst part about it is that, man, living with that for years, you telling yourself that story, and everything else around you has evolved, and except you, because you keep telling yourself that story.
Hmm.
So therefore, you can evolve
Well,
because you're stuck there. You keep thinking that way. You're not going to move forward like that. So therefore, it's just like it doesn't serve you a purpose. Let that go. Peace.
not just let that go, but dude, as I watch these videos that are called like 600-pound life, let me get my pen really quick.
Oh.
Or the addicted, or
Mm.
hoarders, or
Mm-hmm.
that there's another element to this, of not just the way that
Yeah.
we think, but also there's enabling. And so you don't just watch yourself, but watch the network of friends that you keep, and if they're enabling and helping you
Mm-hmm.
stay in this lockdown. Because guess what they say, man, misery loves company.
Indeed.
And
Mm-hmm.
so don't
Oh
just take
yes.
a look at that, but take a look at the micro, which is yourself, but the macro, which is your environment too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, man, when the micro is decided, the macro throws it right back into the pattern of behavior because it becomes too big, or it might be a family member, or it might be somebody that you don't feel like you can
But
get away
right.
from, and you can. And it's okay to, if they're not healthy people, if the toxicity that they are bring to your life is bringing you down, man.
It's yeah, you have to, as much as you love them, you have to say you got to go.
Yeah, you wish them
Me,
well, but you
you know, not in that, not being rude or anything, but you have to make the choice of like you cannot allow that in your life. Just you got to keep it at a distance.
yeah.
You know, so and don't let anything, like, again, like I'm not gonna let, like, I don't practice that. If anybody comes over here to my place when before this happened, and it's just like you come here, and my dog is the one who reads the vibration right away. You know,
Hmm.
you come over here and then it's like my dog looks at you, and then if he looks at you and he comes up to you and he growls at you, I know right away. I'm like, you're coming over here like with some boogeyman shit that's not allowed. I don't practice that here. And I tell people, and I let them know, dude, when you come here happy, come here joyful. Don't bring your stress. Don't bring your personal problems. I'm not your psychiatrist. I'm your friend. You know, I said, and if you can't do that, then, and if you had a rough day, and don't come and visit me. Just come back when you're in good vibration, because I don't need I don't need that right now. I need to watch my mental health, and I just want to keep the good vibrations, keep it high, you know? Because at the moment that we start being concerned and afraid, and somebody distributes their fear, you just got injected with that. Now your chemistry in your body changes too. Now the chemistry in your body changes. Now your immune system is fighting the chemistry that has changed in your body. So I don't want my body to be fight. I want my body to be ready to mingle with pathogen shit that I might breathe. They're like, boom, take it out. You're done. You're out. You know, like that's what how we got to start thinking about. Like, no, your mind is your piece, your gold, and that helps this, right? So we have the stomach is is the first brain. The brain is the second brain. Okay, this signals to this, and this signals to that. So we have to be mindful of that. Coherence. Yeah. So so that's where we are, man, and with this today. So tomorrow the sun will shine again, and the sun comes out for everybody. Whether you're good or an asshole, the sun will shine tomorrow, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it's a tangle of neurons around our intestines. There's a tangle of neurons around our heart, and then of course our brain. And
Mm-hmm.
they call the brain, the stomach, the first brain, because if we took all our intestines and laid them all out and looked at the surface area of of our intestines, our stomachs, it would be about the size of a football, or no, excuse me, of a tennis court, right?
Yes.
And so we have
Mm-hmm.
all of that bringing us information, and then also we look at gut health and probiotics, even fecal transplants. It's pretty cool what is happening now, with our understanding of that,
Mm-hmm.
the overall health of our whole body. And then we have the tangle of neurons around the heart, and then we have the tangle of neurons around or our brain, which is that core uh, controller or CEO of that body. But we also have, the amygdala, which would be the fear factory, the hypothalamus, hippocampus. There's
Yes.
lots of different parts of our brain and the effects that they have. And the more understanding that we have of those, we can use what we call mindful awareness, or mind, um, the knowledge that we have of how our bodies function and the purpose, and of these different parts of our bodies. And as dog trainers, I think that we have a unique perspective, because the dogs have the brain, they have a digestive, circulatory,
Yep.
nervous system, all that stuff, skeletal system. We as human beings just have a different part of our brain, a prefrontal cortex, that allows us a lot more capabilities with our thought process.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
just like you were saying about, become the dog, look at the world through the dog's eyes by proxy. I'm telling people all over, like, the number one mistake they do is by making the dog into a human being. And I
Yes.
tell them, look, dude, this is not good, because this is why the dog can't do this, because the dog is living in the moment, has a limbic system, and to put these characteristics on this animal is a disservice to this animal.
Yeah.
but to really, really try to understand and see the world through this animal's eyes, through what we know, is a great service to this animal, because then they show me that they understand me, and I start communicating with them, and then we open up that rapport building, and that trust exercise, and then they're
Yes.
like, this person is pretty cool,
Oh man, indeed. And then it's something that like I like to do is just like as much as I loved connecting with the dog, I love connecting with the owner, most
Yeah.
importantly. Because that's what I find challenging is the human, you know? The human we tend to
Humans are
always
very interesting, man.
yeah, we're always using our analytical mind for everything, you know, when we shouldn't. There's some things that you just don't analyze that are they don't
What
need to
dog would
be.
be? What dog in his right mind would want to be a human? LOL. Yeah. I watch them just running. Just get out in the field, dude, and that's all they want to do is just to run around, enjoy the smells, roll around in the wet dew. The nice
Hmm.
frosty morning. They like that nice frosty grass, and then they're coming in to eat, and they're just so happy, dude. And you just look at them,
It
and
is. It's just that's the beauty of it. Like they're enjoying who they are,
yeah. Well,
right?
they don't. I mean, it's just they love who they are, and I mean, and they. I don't know, man. It's a cool thing to watch, and it's they have conflicts, but they
Hmm.
forgive, and and it's just to see. Oh, Christopher Fraze, what's up, my man? He's like, I'm sure he wants to weigh in a little bit. Um, but yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful thing because it allows us to put our awareness into something that might give us a lot more joy than to always focus on, that shit that's on the television. I never understood why some dog trainers don't like connecting with the owner. Working with people is my favorite because I get to see them make some essential changes in their lives and relationships and watch them blossom. I
Hmm.
get I get to watch people learn to be a dog.
Indeed.
And that's the best thing to do. And Chris just says he's just listening. I want Christopher to come back on, man. I want to talk to you some more. I love Christopher. He's the thing I like about him is in my opinion, one of the greatest teachers,
Ah,
because he's not afraid to raise some points and to ruffle some feathers of some neglected areas, and he's got some excellent points. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, well, I'm glad you're listening, buddy. But yeah, if you want to learn as a dog professional how to become the dog a little bit more, I
Hmm.
always recommend Nelson Hodges and his
Oh,
courses. Do you agree?
I agree 150% with you. Yes, indeed. Nelson Hodges. I've had some conversations with Nelson when I've run into him in ICP, and it's a very humble,
I don't
deep,
hug trees.
very kind man. I've spoken to him. Very intelligent, very deep, very knowledgeable about dogs. Like very like, I feel like I have a very good connection with him because there's a lot of things that I've never, I've never taken a course with him that he does possibly, and intuitively I've done things like that, and it's like, oh wow, I did that too. I didn't even know that's what you call it,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, you know. And it's like, dog training is about you being intuitive, man. You're working with nature. Aside from learning what we need to know, need to learn the fundamentals, what we need to learn about timing, all the essentials. Yeah, fantastic. That's what makes you the dog trainer. But it's more about really like the connection at the end of the day. I just feel you have to connect with the dog so the dog can open up and you can work together and help the dog.
When I think connecting with the dog, reading the dog
Mhm.
is crucial, and knowing when you can push the dog, maybe knowing when you have to pull back, knowing when you can just be and let the experience happen. All that stuff is very crucial, and a lot of times, that man, people just have a hard time with that, have a hard time with seeing what's happening right in front of their face, and
Yeah. No,
you know,
it's it's a beautiful it is. I mean,
cool. Just bought your book, Paul. Just bought that book. So
sweet man, you're gonna enjoy that book, dude.
Another book that I recommend that we were just talking about is Mindsight. Dr. Daniel J. Siegel. He's I'll just put. He's got a ton of books,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them have to do with child psychology. But he talks about the wavelengths and the different periods of time that those happen,
Mm.
and but just how we can be mindfully aware to rebuild our mind, and
Yes.
to know that look, the mind has a couple functions. One is to keep our body in homeostasis,
Yes.
98.6 degrees,
Mm-hmm.
and keep all of these different functions just always going,
Yeah.
like my breath, my heartbeat, all that, my enteric nervous system, or my, like what we were talking about, that first brain, my
Mm-hmm.
intestines and everything. I'm very aware. I'm very happy. I'm not like, oh, I need to open sphincter 11. Okay, sphincter 13 needs to like, I don't. All that stuff just happens, and or I need to breathe, or it's like you're not conscious of it. It's just what this wonderful automated psycho cybernetic mechanism that we
Yeah.
have, and that's what it's based down to, is that kind of autopilot, homeostasis autopilot. But then we also have the purpose of the mind is to keep us safe,
Yes.
and then that's where we start to run into some issues with when it comes to behavior, because the mind forms what we call a comfort zone
Yeah.
based on experiences. And same thing with that animal, right? The
Mm-hmm.
comfort zone is going to be formed, and if we don't have that much experience, especially during the formative or the formative years, then it's going to be hard, and we're going to have a lot more trouble or building that mind into a mind that's not necessarily formatted for that. And it takes a little bit more work. But what I'm saying is that once we hit the limits of this comfort zone, our mind sounds the alarm and starts. That's the amygdala. That's the pumping out the fear, the polypeptides that make our bodies feel this doubt, fears, anxieties, doubts, fears, anxieties,
Mm-hmm.
doubts, fears, anxieties. And when we use mindful awareness, that's when we feel these doubts, fears, anxieties, which I'm sure a lot of people are during this time.
Yeah.
And we transmute that. We realize, okay, cool, this is my body, or this is my brain sounding the alarm. It makes sense why it sounded the alarm, because we're delving out of our comfort zone. We're doing something that we've never done before.
Yeah.
And then we keep our eye. That's where we can either shrek back into the fear and go back to sleep, or go watch TV or check out, or whatever it takes us, that always is a distraction usually. Or we can make a decision to feel the fear and to move forward on what we choose,
Mm.
to focus on in the meantime, whether it's, working on a new project, starting a new endeavor,
Mm-hmm.
starting that new book. There's so many things that fear stops us from doing. But if we're mindfully aware and we're able to look at that fear as an automated function of the mind, and we can move past that instead of letting it have the effect that it typically does, that's how we really, really grow as individuals. And as we grow as individuals, we will grow as a society.
For sure. I agree with you for sure, man. That's you touched on a very, very important point. Yeah, it's all up to you. It's up to you at the end of the day, you know?
Well, and
And
having fear and doing it anyway, that's the definition of courage.
well, I like to encourage people to set your day when you wake up. Even if there's times where people now are probably waking up earlier because you're feeling anxious, you're probably waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and
Oh, dude, I'm sleeping until so late.
no, yeah, but
We
that's
woke up this morning. I don't even want to say what time we woke up this morning, but I woke up and I told my wife what time it was. She was like, "No way!" So it was late. It was a late morning.
but
But yeah, some people are.
but that's because you're at peace. You're comfortable. It's like your life, like you're at peace with yourself. You're in balance. But then there are those of us that probably are thinking about
Yes.
financial things. They have families. It's like I got to pay my mortgage. I got to pay this. So all of that starts triggering, and then starts going over, and then you try to go to sleep, and maybe you take a couple hours of it, then you wake up, and then all of a sudden, what you start thinking about is the same thought that you left off the day before.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's like if we think about 90,000 thoughts a day, between 70 and 90 thoughts, 70,000 and 90,000 thoughts a day. Okay, 85% of those thoughts are yesterday's thoughts, and the day before, and the year before, and the year before. That right there is a problem. You need to catch yourself. So therefore, what I would suggest, like when you wake up in the morning, is just like be grateful. The most powerful way to raise up your vibration and to clear your mind and to set the tone for your day and to set your goals for the day is with gratitude. With gratitude. Gratitude is very powerful. It is the key to the universe. Thank you for my hands. Thank you for my feet. When was the last time you said thank you for my health? Right? So that's what being mindful is about. Not just in the hard times, not just when we're going through difficult times. No, this is a way of life for us moving forward. We make it, and I tell you something. It only can transform to a nice, positive way of living. Because I think that if we were to recreate this financial system, I think we should create it with an equality for all, because there is plenty of resources for all.
Absolutely. Do you know who Joe Dispenza is?
Yes, that's one of my mentors.
Yep,
Dr. Joe Dispenza. I highly recommend his book. You Are the Placebo.
You Are the Placebo, The Generous Present Moment, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. All of those are wonderful. But he also, if you guys have, what I highly recommend, and I don't ever do this, and I'm not getting paid or anything to it, but there's a series that he has on the Gaia Network. Yeah. And let me put it up here. It's phenomenal, you guys. So this is,
yes. I mean, this right here, what he does, the work that he's been doing for 20 years, for those of you that are not familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza is another graduate from Rutgers University. He deals with neurological systems. So he has written quite a few books. Dr. Joe Dispenza had a horrible accident about 20 years ago, and this is what led him to discover that we are very powerful, that your thoughts are so powerful that your thoughts can heal your body.
Yeah.
Okay. And I tell you what, whenever you guys get a chance, read his story, Google him up, and just read his story of what happened to him. It was very, very, very challenging. He was going to be paralyzed. He broke 7 of his discs on his back. He got hit by a car, a truck coming from behind him. And that's where I'm going to leave it at. And then you guys can read his story. It's amazing.
Well, I'm going to put this on really quick, man. So and this is actually from the web, or the Gaia. This is how you spell it, GAIA.
Yes.
Gaia.com. And this is a monthly subscription like Netflix, except for it's more of like spiritual stuff. And this is it right here. $12 a month or $8.25 annually, or you can have live access for another premium. But I wanted to just play his little promo here, just so you get an idea. It's only a minute long, so let's check it out, dude.
Check it out.
Put this up here. Can you see it, Byron?
Yep, I see it perfectly.
That thing I downloaded on my phone, and anytime I was on the plane, I was watching that sucker. And I mean,
he's amazing, dude.
The mother of learning, dude. So even when this material, like, you want to watch it over and over again, and just sometimes I'll have it just playing kind of in the background if I'm working on something else, or
that's awesome. So that's something that we highly recommend for you guys to watch. That
Rewired, yeah.
Rewired.
Whoever watches it, get back to us. So Christopher Frey says, or create a mental snow globe of fantasy to make us block reality. Yeah, absolutely, man. People will do that just to tell them, any new information before it's disseminated and like picked apart is first. Typically, people take new information and hold it against their beliefs first before they start to critically look through it.
Yeah.
And that's it, that's the mental snow globe of fantasy to block reality. Like, here comes reality to you, but because you don't believe something or other. And the thing is, man, is that reality doesn't require your belief.
No, it does not.
You know, one of my favorite quotes, Bobby's right here, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. Right. And so getting from a reactionary mindset to a responsive mindset.
Yes.
And that's your choice, man. I could call you a stupid idiot right now, and you could choose to get offended, or you could be like, oh, you're a stupid idiot, or whatever, you know, like, or bless somebody, or be like I was saying with I don't remember who it was. I think it was Birdie when I was talking to her, is like, whenever somebody gets mad at me on the freeway, I try, you know, I'm not 100% at this, but I try to just kind of put some good energy on them. I want to, especially if I see their face, I want to imagine their face smiling and a big belly laugh coming over them, like them in bliss and joy, you know. Take that energy. It's your choice what to do with that. It's not what happens to us, but how we choose to respond that's important, right?
Yes. So that
I love that quote.
That brings me down to this thought that if you become the master of your mind, then you master your game, you master the world, because everything is about how you respond, how you react.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes down to it.
Yeah. Human thought pendulum. I think that's thought.
The human thought pendulum.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yes.
It might be worth 99 cents you paid for. Light up a new book. At the time I worked, was focused on getting it done, then doing it right. Yikers. Byron on gratitude. Amen. Byron on gratitude. Yes.
Thank you. No, that's hey, you know, these are the tools, guys. I'm here to share with you. This is how I build myself and I keep myself mentally healthy. I've been through a lot, you know, and I want to live. I don't want to go back to I was dead. Okay, so I don't want to go back to that state of mind ever. I found myself again, and I'm staying here, healthy, alive, and grateful.
I'm going to put Joe Dispenza's books in the comments too, with a link to those too.
Yeah, this is so this is how we empower you guys, and this is how we, you know, anything that you guys know, any hacks that you know, hey, this is what we're here for, to share. Great minds, to, you know, the more we share, the more we learn from one another, the better we become as human beings.
That's right. What is Larry saying here? Hold on.
I picture stomping their brains out.
A story of my life. Byron, what's up, brother? No one can hurt your feelings without your permission. Absolutely, man. Hi, Larry. Just watched your video. I picture stomping their brains out. That's what Larry, I picture sending them off with a belly laugh. He's stomping their brains out. Dude, we're going to zen out together, brother. Once he's retired, man, he needs to retire from the feds. And then Byron and I are going to have our way with you, Larry.
That's right,
Larry. We're not kidding, dude.
No, we're not.
So, but that's it, man. Is you know, but don't get me wrong, too. Let me get this. Like, it's not all fairy tales and rainbows either, man. Like there is evil in this world, and
oh hell yeah, there is
righteous anger is a gift. If there's evil going on in front of you, that evil relies on the silence of people looking the other way, man. But if you see that shit, like, I mean, being angry doesn't always feel good, but I mean, if you see some shit that shouldn't be happening, that's evil shit, then absolutely get angry, because that's the proper response of that, you know?
Oh, indeed. Absolutely.
A lot of new age camps are like, don't ever not feel good, or don't ever do. And I'm like, no, dude, there's time when you should not feel good, when that shit, because that shit's not supposed to make you feel good.
No, good way. Yeah, you're supposed to react to that. I mean, that's right there. It's like your soul, your spirit, your body. You're like, I'm not feeling that vibe. Like, fuck off, you know?
Yeah. Larry says, oh, yes, can't wait. That's what you say now.
You will have a great time. We promise you. We'll keep you safe.
Yeah, buddy. We got you. After I started listening to Dr. Joe, I started applying some of his ideas of training. Sometimes I freak clients out. Yeah, it's a pretty big, pretty deep thing. But
But it's based on, see, here's the thing, it's all based on science. His stuff is like, he has everything recorded, everything. He has a database of all his patients, of and then he a recollection of everything to prove this is not a fairy tale. This is science proof.
yeah,
You know? So I mean, many people just have to wake up. This is called an awakening. What's going on? And if you're just going to focus on being sad, angry, or depressed, that's your choice. But you're not going to go very far with that attitude.
yeah. Well, I mean, you're just gonna stick in a rut of spinning your own tires.
And
And
making
there are some
everybody else
people,
around you miserable.
but there are some people that also have a legitimate reason to be upset.
Yeah,
And sometimes it's okay to be upset. It's
for sure.
okay. It's just to when you start getting into an obsessive type of unhealthy, or when you can't break out of that, that's when I kind of know, look, we're in this hole together, but I'm going to get on that ladder and hop out real quick. Okay, did you know that there's a ladder? You want to come with me? Or you're cool here? All right, I'll be back. Type of thing. Just
Yeah.
letting people know, look, man, don't dismiss the way they feel, but um, be there to kind of show them, hey, look, there's another way to look at this sometimes, but also some people need to be heard during this time too, because of a lot of change happening. But I think that's a great interrupter, just of interrupting our lives. None of us really saw this happening to the scope that it would happen,
Mm-hmm.
and so take it as a time of reflection to be like, look, this is what I want to change. This is what's not serving me, you
Mm-hmm.
know physically too. Look around at your clutter or anything. Clutter comes from the root word clot, which is like a stagnation of energy,
Mm-hmm.
or like a blood clot, right? And so
Yeah,
once you
absolutely.
clear away that clot, you're going to invite new energy. And so not just physically, like getting rid of shit that's around your house or whatever, that's clutter, or clothes, or whatever,
Yeah.
books, all that stuff, but also energetically. And to kind of, and that's where sometimes a mental professional might help you with some exercises.
Yeah.
But there's also ways that you can kind of you know visualize, and just kind of go through stuff that you might be having trouble with in life. And sometimes I visualize like the worst of the worst of the worst happening, and kind of
Mm.
going through that, even though it might invoke kind of a very anxious response. But then once you get to the other side of that, a lot of times you're like, dude, this isn't too bad. Even if the worst of the worst happened, I'd still
Mm.
be okay.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's, guys, check this out. When I was 3 years old.
So hold on, Christopher has a. Do your positive beliefs and higher consciousness thinking feel comparable with the canine mind, specifically pertaining to behavioral issues?
And higher consciousness thinking. It does. You think about it, you know. Let me give you an example of this. So, to answer his question, so I went to see a client a few months ago, and he had two children. One was 4 years old, and the other child was six. No, seven. So when I got there to do the consultation, we started talking about the dog, right? And I started pretty much just talking about how dogs learn, and just the whole psychology behind dogs. And then he, all of a sudden, for some reason, he says to me, "Hey, do you know why my son might have got kicked out of his daycare?" I'm like, what do you mean? What did you? He's like, he's become very violent in these past couple weeks, and I'm like, really? Okay. I'm like, okay, so what do you do with your son, Dad? I mean, I'm looking at, they're sitting there watching TV. He's like, yeah. I said, is that what they do all day? When he's like, yeah. I was like, and what kind of shows do you let them watch? He's like, we just changed the shows. That he was watching some shows that has some violence in it. And I'm like, violence at that age? You don't supervise what your kids watch? I said, so you just answered the question that you just asked me. What your son was watching on TV, that's what he was practicing in daycare. You know, from learning from observation. Dogs learn from observation too, good or bad behaviors. You know, so to answer this question, yes, I mean I do believe that. Yeah, for sure. I
I
think
think that it's more of like being aware of in being in the moment and observing, and that's where I take away the higher consciousness of that.
being
Uh,
present.
Being present, and actually seeing the dog behavior for what it truly is, and
Yes.
also taking a scope like this is not just the human, or this is observing of dog behavior based on what we know, is and we're always learning more and more every day. Well, Byron, the hair on the back of my head is standing up right now because even though I haven't heard everything, I know I have been there where you are going. Huh. Oh no.
Well, because
Yeah.
even though I haven't heard everything, I know I have been there where you are going. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I guess you're saying that you've experienced some of the things that I experience, and the way we experience things is we create what we want to experience. You know. So, like I said, I set my tone. If I don't set my tone in the morning, man, this is a good habit I develop. It affects my day.
Yeah.
It affects my day because what I'm doing is pretty much just bringing all my thoughts and then my whole vibration, all my energy into a calm state of mind. So when I get up from my meditations, right, I get up with a new perspective. I see the world differently. I feel differently. So when the stress, when anything happens, my reaction towards it is not going to be without thinking. It's going to be with thought.
Yeah.
Slow me down. And I'm going to make good decisions. And my day is going to be great. And everything's going to work out for me. So back to Kate, you know,
The stream time, I didn't hear the rest of it. I had to restart it, but I missed it. I don't know but yeah, you'll have to restart it. But yeah,
yeah, no,
it's
this is good stuff, guys. This is something that for you to digest, to think about, and
people's
take it, grow with it. It's good stuff. It only does good for me. I mean,
people's dogs tell me who they are and how they communicate. Absolutely.
hmm yeah, absolutely. That's your connection, Christopher. It's beautiful, man. See what I mean?
Well,
Like,
permissive too. You can tell permissive dog owners that and a lot of times it's reflective in the kids' behavior too. Like I've walked into a training situation, I'm just like, I'm trying to talk to the parents, and I'm like, dude, I can't hear you. Let me take the frog in my throat. Let me take 1 second here and get control of this. And I'm like, kids, I'm like yelling at their kids. I'm like, kids, shut up and get in here. Sit down over here and relax, you guys. We're gonna learn about dogs right now, okay?
hmm
And then
yeah,
they're coming in, they're lining up, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I just wrangled all your kids. And that's where we're gonna start, man. Is like, you guys need to have a like stock in this relationship too, kids. And those kids, they want to learn, man, and they follow that assertiveness too, man. If they know and they're interested in you, and you get on them, they're going to be like, yeah, what's up?
yeah,
For the most part, some of them are little
yeah.
shitheads,
No, yeah, I
but
agree
yeah,
with you. No,
their
no.
dogs tell me, and their kids tell me too, man. You know,
Yeah, I mean, one day I had a consultation. It was for a dog that a Swiss Mountain dog. He was just too playful in the house. He was grabbing things from the living room, and I'm like, okay. So I went over to the console, and then when I walk into this huge house, dude, the living room was the size of a basketball court, and her kids, yeah, like four of them, they were playing football, and the dog is in the middle of this, right? And I'm just standing there watching what's going on? And I asked the parents, I'm like, hey, well, how do you stop this game here? What do you guys do? Is there a code? Is there a word? How do you guys ask them to? She's like, well, no, we just let them be kids. I'm like, well, that's the problem. I said, is this a living room or is this a football field? What, is this a park? I said, first, let's identify. I'm in your house.
The dogs never lie.
This is supposed to be the living room. They're playing football. Your dog, look at the dog going for the football, chasing the football, and he doesn't get the football. Then he grabs the pillow from the couch, and then he starts playing with it. I said, okay, so that's that energy, that whole. See what it's mimicking. Your kids are playing. The dog, they're not paying attention to the dog. The dog is not trained, and the dog is just being a dog.
Mm-hmm. That's what I say. Dog's not being bad. The dog's just being a dog, man. We haven't shown him.
I mean, he's just being part of that madness there. He's like, okay, nobody tells me anything. Let me be part of it. Oh, it's cool. So therefore, we have to start teaching the humans. So therefore, I was like, okay, so the first thing that I'm going to teach you is that this is a living room. No more of these games. So then I say, with your permission, hey, can I get that football? I say, guys, as of today, this game is over here. You guys got to play outside. I'm here to train your dog. And this is one of the rules that we're going to establish, that this is the living room, not a football or field or park, okay? So that was and they were very respectful. They were like, okay, no problem. And, it was a great lesson. The dog wasn't even problematic. It was all about setting some rules in the house.
Yep. Setting boundaries, yep.
And that was it. And never saw them. And whenever I see them or saw them, was in the park walking nicely with the dog, and it was just one consultation, one lesson, and I didn't really do much besides letting them know what's going on. If they didn't want to go with a full program of full obedience, the dog was great. I mean, can it use a little? Yeah, any dog can use some training, but they're dogs that they're just built fantastically. I mean, most of my friends that are dog trainers, a lot of them, like, we train most of our dogs, but we don't focus so much on our dogs. We don't train much of our dogs, right? This is a confession. I don't train much as I should be training my dog. I don't. I train mostly my clients' dogs. But the stuff that I do with my dog is fun. It's I take it in a different angle. And it's a different kind of training. But that's my dog. That's your dog. That's how we do things,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's, I do like a lot of bouncing off me and stuff that people would not like.
Yeah. Why would I want my dog jumping on my back for?
Yeah, I'm like, I love it, man.
The dog's brain.
Yep. But rules, boundaries, and structures, what you will allow will continue and bleed out in other behaviors. Absolutely.
Yes.
The dog's not going to grow out of this, man. It's going to get worse and affect other aspects of their life. So get on it right from the get-go. Mm-hmm. Right when they're young. My client asked me why her sweet 1-year-old lab doodle was biting her hubby and a pair of kids. Well, guess what? No structure around boundaries or
that's
what I would suggest. Or what a nice surprise. What's up, yo?
Oh, yo,
Cohen.
what up?
What up, buddy?
What's up, Cohen?
Coach, partner, counselor, leader, psychologist, behaviorist.
Yeah, those are the hats that we got to wear, man.
That's a counselor, right? Or is that counselor?
Counselor, leader, psychologist, behaviorist.
Yep.
And sometimes you got to play a lawyer.
I say I'm like an attorney for the dog. I represent their best interests in this relationship.
Yeah.
So they could tell me anything they want to tell me, but I'm like, okay, you got it. Okay. I'm the lawyer for the dog, And so that's it, man. We're almost at an hour and a half, brother. How do people find you?
Oh yeah, how did everybody find me? I hope everybody found.
How do they find you if they want to talk to you
if
after
anybody
that?
wants to find me, you can go and log into my website. Also, I'm on Facebook. That's Canine Training with Byron, and also my website is one word: caninetrainingwithbyron.com. And you can Facebook, Instagram.
Is it K9, like K number 9?
Letter K, number 9.
Okay, there we go.
Mm-hmm. Trainingwithbyron.com.
With Byron, let me see. I think it's doing it. It is. Maybe. There you are. Canine Training with Byron. I'm going to put it into the...
Yeah, everyone to reach out. Let's keep connected. Let's our community of us that are, that are down to earth, that are real professionals, that we We're
Love
not
you,
done with.
Christopher. He
Thank you,
says, thank you,
gentlemen. Thank you,
Jennifer.
Christopher. Thank you, everyone, for being here and listen up, man. It's all about love. No more, moving forward. Always
If
love.
you can't reach the owner, you can't reach the dog. I agree.
Hmm.
But Paul says he found you great, Byron. Yeah, check out Byron. Follow him. Follow his page. Yeah, and
Thank you so
then
much, everybody. For this conversation. I hope this you found some words, some good encouragement. I hope this is what it's about. We're here to encourage one another. This is the root real love. Remember, it's about love, no fear, love. Let's switch it up. It's all about love.
yeah, we might do a special meditation, dude. Do one
I think
for.
we should lead a nice meditation for our dog community.
I'll play the flute, dude. Ready?
Nice.
We won't do it now, but play the flute.
Yeah.
It's super fantastic. Looking forward to the meditation. Thanks, fellows. Evan's gonna follow you. Thanks, Larry. Love
Thank
you,
you.
buddy.
Thank you,
And
Larry. Thank you, everyone. Jason. Thanks,
and
everyone. I really
Jesus.
appreciate you.
You love it, dude. Whatever. This is for Christopher. Namaste, my brother.
Namaste,
I'll
my
play the
friend.
skin flute. Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
I hope they highlight this right here. Now we have you on the freaking show, dude, in writing. So
That's right.
flute time.
Flute time, baby.
Byron, stay right there, buddy. Let's say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everybody. Love you guys. Much love and respect.
Much love and respect. And remember that there's 3 parts to any type of event. We have the preparation, the event itself, and then the processing afterwards. I would invite you all to watch this over and just take some time to reflect and to process, but also look at some of the teachers that we have suggested, especially Joe Dispenza.
Yes.
I highly recommend that series on Gaia, even if you just buy it for the first month. Watch all the series and cancel it. It's worth it. And report back to us if you guys choose to do this. Let us know what you think of that. And
if you guys want to further discuss this down the road, we can do that as well. That would be great. If you guys want to discuss something specific, it will be great. Because we can enlighten, I think, more people about this. It's for your own mental health, I think, and peace. I think that's what's about.
Peace.
Peace.
I think